Hey, what's up? Coach LT is here. I have an important question for you. Matter of fact, this is a pop quiz. Pop quiz time. Are you blocking your own success? That's the question of the day. Are you blocking your own success? I'm going to give you 3 questions. And if you answer yes to these questions, then you might not be blocking your own success if you answer yes. Here's question number 1. Do you have a clear definition of the word success for you? Do you know when you have achieved success, and do you celebrate it? Right? It's kind of a long question, but it's something for you to think about. Do you have a definition of the word success? What does success mean to you? Because what success means to me is different than what it means to you. You might measure your success according to how much money you make. You might measure your success according to how much romance and love you have in your life, right? You might measure your success according to how your relationships are with your kids, with your parents, with your coworkers, with your church mates. That might be your measure of success. All right. So number 1, this is the first question on the pop quiz. Do you have a clear definition of the word success? If you do, you're on your way. Okay? You can't hit what you don't see. And so if you don't have a definition of success, you will never be able to achieve it. Okay? Does that make sense? Thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Question number 2 on this pop quiz. Do you have a community of success? Okay, so this goes back to your definition. What is the definition? Do you have a group of people that are there to support you, that are there to lift you up and celebrate you when you do achieve success, right? Excuse me. See, these are people who are like-minded and they have a lot in common and they're focusing on similar goals. That's why it's so important for you. When you go back to school, this is why you need to be involved in networking groups, in clubs, people who are creating productions, if you're into productions, right? People who are excelling in those areas that have your same major. That's why we have majors, to put people together who want to solve the same kinds of problems. All right. So do you have a definition of success? Do you have a community of success? So far, if your answer is yes and yes, you're doing great. Okay, you're doing great. You probably don't need to be watching this talk. All right. If you have a clear definition of success and you have a community of people who support you and they celebrate your success, you're on your way. All right. Here's the last question. This one is a doozy. Okay. This one is important because the people who are attracted into my world, who come to see me, who hang out with me, who hire me, these are people who are high achievers, sometimes overachievers. These are people who love to read, write, listen, and speak. They love to talk about ideas. These are people who love to have meaningful conversations and connections with people to solve problems. So the majority of the people that are in my network and my clients are teachers, ministers, servant leaders, and authors. These are the people that I surround myself with because we have a similar definition of the word success. And we believe that when we achieve success, we need to be celebrating. Okay. All right. So do you have a definition of success? That's the first question. Do you have a community I have notes here, so that's why you're going to see me looking down, because I have notes that I want to share, lots of insights that I want to share with you from working with people for the past 6 or 7 years on their book publishing journey. And so I also want to ask you the last question, which is, do you have a product to sell that is going to help you share your strategies, your methods to how you achieve success, right? Does that product help other people achieve success? This is important. Okay. Number 3 is probably the most important question on this list. So if you answered yes to the first one and yes to the second one, but you're not answering yes to the third one, you need to lean in and listen, grab your pen and paper, and you need to take some notes, because I'm going to give you some information on how you can change this dynamic and stop blocking your own success. Because if you aren't successful and you don't have a community of success, you are going to feel like a failure. You may not be a failure, but you're going to feel like you're a failure. And if you feel like a failure, then everything in your life is going to feel like it's a failed attempt, because you don't believe in yourself. You don't feel like you're doing anything great because you haven't tapped in to what I'm about to share with you today. I'm getting ready to share with you things that you can do to get out of your own way and to stop blocking your success. Welcome to my world. My name is Latasha L.T. Jimerson. I'm an author, teacher, book coach, and motivational speaker. I am the founder and creator of LT's Coaching and Educational Services, which is a coaching and consulting firm that helps people write that one book that allows them to attract their perfect ideal clients and gets them on stage to speak. This is what I do for people. This is what I help people with. I work with business owners. I work with educators. I work with servant leaders who pour everything that they have into other people. And they are ready to be compensated and highly paid and recognized for the work that they bring, recognized for the value that they bring into the marketplace. That is what I do. I am the author of 8 books. My most popular book is Your First Book Workbook. That is what people come to me for all day long. They ask me questions about how to get the first book done, how to write it, how to figure out the topic, how to get the target audience, how to do this, how to do that, da 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 da. And the first thing we start with is, what is your definition of success? What would you like to achieve with this first book? I am also the creator of Your First Book 101, which is an online course. I am also the creator, host, and teacher of the YouTube channel, Your First Book 101. I am also the creator and administrator of the Facebook group, Your First Book Club. And for those of my clients that have already finished a book with me, I created a separate free Facebook group for them, and that's called Your Next Book Club. And what I teach in that group is that your next book should always be financed by the first book. So if you haven't squeezed the juice out of the first book, if you haven't made at least 10K from that first book within the first year, then you shouldn't even be thinking about writing a second book, because you haven't squeezed all the juice out of that first book. All right. So this is something that I really want you to think about. I really want you to take this to heart, because this is very important. Extremely important. And if you're watching me live, go ahead and type live and put your name in the comments so that I can give you the recognition that you deserve for being on here with me. I'm not able to see any names or anything because I am on my beautiful StreamYard account, which I love, 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 love. And so I'm not able to see your name, but I definitely want to shout you out. Okay. And now I'm going through my notes. I'm going to make sure that I went ahead and covered everything that I wanted to cover. I definitely gave you those 3 questions. Here's what I want to share with you next. These are the 3 things that I've done to block myself. Okay. These are the 3 things. When I wrote my first book in 2017, I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't want anybody to get it because it was a personal story about my own personal life. And there were, stories in there about things that happened to me when I was young and how I overcame those things. I finally wrapped the book up with, basically how to be successful as a career mom who's busy, who's going through lots of things, but managing to figure it out, right? I talked about how I changed my lifestyle. I talked about how I completely just reorganized my entire schedule, started setting boundaries with people, started not being triggered by everything, right? So that's what that first book was about. And people started asking me, okay, you got a book. How did you do that? Right? Can you show me how to do it? The first thing I said was no. That was my first response. It was like a knee-jerk reaction because I was practicing at that point in my life. People didn't know this, but I was practicing the skill of saying no. I was practicing the art of saying no. So when people came to me with amazing opportunities to coach them, I said no. Because I was just so ignorant. I didn't even know what coaching was because I was a classroom teacher teaching within the 4 walls, right? I was in the 4 walls and I was just putting my head down every day, going to work, doing my job, not focusing on anything happening outside in the world. And I didn't realize that when I became an author, I became a business owner because I had a product. And when you have a product, you're supposed to sell. And if you don't sell, then you don't have a business. I didn't even see myself as a business owner. So I had to make that mental shift, right? And so people kept asking me, could you help me with my book? And I was like, no. Until finally one summer, I was like, I need to make some money. Teachers don't get paid in the summer, y'all. It was rough. And so I said, all right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I created an online course. I did some market research. I actually joined a program that taught me how to create a course. It was literally a course on how to create a course. I created my course. Within 90 days, I had 4 people enrolled, made about $2,400. I was super excited and happy because it was my first course. My first cohort is what I called them. They came through the course and they learned a lot from me, got some pretty good results, not really stellar, but for my first run, it wasn't bad. And then I did a lot of studying and a lot of reading and research and market research. And I found out that people wanted me just to teach them how to write and publish a book. That's all they wanted. So I wrote another book and I said, all right, this book is not going to be about me and my personal story. Nobody really cares about that. People really want to know what I can help them with. And so I learned from asking questions and getting feedback from other people. They wanted me to write a book about how to write a book. So that's what I wrote a book about. And that is my money maker. That's my biggest seller to this day, because that's what the market needs. People are demanding this knowledge. They want to know, how do you do it? Because the publishing industry is huge, and I'm a teacher. So I have a way of breaking it all the way down and making it accessible to the regular person. And so I was blocking my own success for a long time by telling people no. I was like, I don't want to help you write a book, because I was afraid that I was going to fail at teaching them. And so I started doing it for free, and then I started doing it for a little bit of money, and then it turned into bigger money. And now this is what I do full time. And so if I would have started earlier, I would have even be further. I'd probably have a multi-million-dollar empire by now, right? But we are where we are because of the decisions that we made, and we can't go back and change it, but we can make better decisions today. So this is why I'm here, and I'm asking you, are you blocking your own success? Are you? And why? Right? I see some of you in here. Hey, I see some of y'all from Facebook. What's up? I see a couple people are on Facebook. Some people are on Twitter. What's up? Thank you so much for viewing me. Thank you so much for the hearts and the love. You know how the algorithm works. Go ahead and give me some love. Give me some hearts. Put your name there or where you're from. You can put a nickname if you want me to call out your nickname. I definitely want to call you out and say hello, because I do appreciate you and your time, because, you know, you don't have to be looking at this channel. You could be somewhere else doing something totally different, but you're here because you want to learn. All right, let me close that. Somebody just sent me a message on Facebook. Can't do that right now. I am live. Let me close that. Okay. All right. Here's what else I want to share with you. And I have this in my notes because there's just so much that I want to share. But I won't go too long. We've already been on here almost 20 minutes. So let me share with you some of the things that I did to push myself away, to push success out of my way. So I told you that I started saying no to everything, right? You can't, when you start learning how to set boundaries, you can't say no to everything. You got to say no to the time wasters and say yes to the things that are going to give you success. Okay. Yes to the success. Okay. Here's what I did that made me slow down my success. I had my own books, How to Write a Book, your first book, right? I had my books, but I didn't take them with me at first. I learned later that, oh, I should probably have some of these paperback books with me in the car so people can get them, right? They can buy them from me. I also learned that, wait a minute, I probably should have a link so at least they could get the digital copy. So if they wanted to read the digital copy, they could. Okay. I was leaving so much money on the table just by leaving my books at home and not having a link for people to click on, because I was out in front of people every day, teaching and talking and sharing and networking. And so if you are the kind of person who you are out, you don't necessarily want to be out, but your job forces you to be out, right? Your church causes you to be out amongst people. What I want to recommend is that you don't leave your books at home. And even if you don't have a book, it's okay to talk to people and let them know that you're working on a book. Nothing wrong with that. That leads me to the third thing. When the things I want you to do to stop blocking yourself. I want you to stop shying away from conversations. There are some very uncomfortable conversations happening in our world and in our society. There are things happening in Facebook groups, and there are people saying very ignorant, very stupid things. And I know that sometimes you look at that and you're like, I am not going to get involved in that conversation. That is just ridiculous. It's a waste of my time. I want you to stop, and I want you to go ahead and engage in those conversations periodically, because you're an expert. If you're watching me, and you're following me, sorry, that's somebody else coming to my Facebook. Please stop sending me messages on my Facebook Messenger. I'm live. Just kidding. They don't know that. Anyways, I want you to start engaging in conversations that are difficult, because people say really stupid things because they're ignorant and they don't know. And they haven't had access to experts like you who do know, right? And so I do want you to start engaging in those conversations. And I want you to start enlightening people and letting people know, look, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. What you're saying is wrong. Let me tell you why your thinking is thinking. You're thinking, right? I've had multiple mentors and coaches come to me and tell me, hey, what you said just now doesn't make any sense. That type of thinking is what's holding you back. That kind of thought process and those words that just came out of your mouth, those words are going to come back and they're going to haunt you. They're not going to help you. And so I've been like, whoa, poked in the eye, confronted with my own stinking thinking. And so that's one of the things that I've had to personally learn, is that when you're an expert and you're an authority and you know something that other people need to know, and they're talking about things that are just completely off base, you need to interject periodically and get in there and start educating people, because the people who are looking for education, who are looking for enlightenment, they will appreciate you chiming in and actually speaking your truth. Okay. All right. The other thing that you are doing to block your own success, and I was doing this for a while, is not posting on social media, being afraid of social media. I was afraid in 2017 when I published my first book. I thought people were going to stalk me. I thought people were going to hack me. I thought people were going to spam me. I thought people were going to impersonate me. And guess what? All that stuff happened, but I didn't die. Right? Those things happened. They came up. I dealt with them. I got advice. I went and got help from people who had been through that before, and I did not die. Same thing for you. If someone hacks you, if somebody takes your identity, if somebody does something that they shouldn't be doing, guess what? There's this thing called karma, and you are not going to have to face that karma. They will. So it's not even worth your time to even entertain the thought of someone doing something malicious against you, because honestly, those people are going to be dealt with. And so that's not something that you need to worry about, because you're not responsible for that. Okay. So don't be afraid to post on social media. Don't be afraid to go live. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Jump into these Facebook groups and start talking about things that you're an expert on. Okay. Share with people the wisdom and the insights, especially if you're a coach, consultant, and you've been coaching and consulting people for years and you have insights. There are a lot of people out here that don't know what they're talking about. So jump into the conversation, even if it's a difficult conversation, if it's a courageous conversation, just jump into it and be bold and be assertive. And don't be rude, but be bold and be assertive and let people know you know what you're talking about, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Those 3 questions, right? I really do want you to create a definition of success for yourself, because then you will be able to have something to measure, right? I want you to get into a community of people who are like-minded and they have the same type of definition of success. Get into a community, okay? And then the third thing is, I want you to create a product that allows other people to experience success in their lives. And that's how you become a successful person, right? That's how you get that fulfillment of knowing that you did something important in the world, right? So if you learn something today from this conversation and you want more of this content, I am having a 5-day challenge, and I would love for you to be a part of this challenge. It's going to be happening on May 6th through the 11th. I'm going to be walking you through my 5-step process through the 5 days on how to develop a topic, how to do some really quick market research, and how to build an outline for the book that you're going to write, which will attract your perfect clients and also get you on stage to get paid to be on stage to speak, because you're already speaking, you're already teaching, you're already coaching, you're already writing, you're already doing these things. How do I know? Because you're just like me. I was already teaching, already coaching, already speaking when I wrote my first book, but I didn't know that because I was just naturally doing what was natural. But when I started to study and learn and hire coaches and mentors, I realized, oh, wow, I should be getting paid to coach. I should be getting paid to speak. I should be getting paid to write more books, right? And so I never write books that people don't ask me to write. So I told you that first book was a memoir. People read it and it was mildly successful, but it didn't really do anything compared to the book that I have now, which is the book that teaches people how to write books. That's what people wanted to learn from me. And so I'm going to teach you during this 5-day challenge. I'm going to teach you how to create the book that will get you paid to be on stage, and it will get you ideal clients that you can support on their journey, right? So type the word challenge in the comments if you want more information about this challenge, because I am going to be walking you through my process and introducing you to my community of authors that have already done this. I've already supported 50 different authors on their journey to write their first book. And it has been an incredible journey. And they come back year after year after year after year, and they participate in the challenge, and they are available for your questions. And they are there to help inspire you, encourage you, and uplift you on your book writing journey. So if you're interested and you want more information and you want to get into this challenge and you know that this is for you, type the word challenge, and I will see you very, very soon. Have a great day.